What's up, YouTube? Fight Doctor here, DJ Kryptonite. Talking combat sports, primarily boxing. Anyway, let's get to it. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that jazz. Thanks for all of the new subscribers and all of that. The channel's growing slowly but surely. It's fun though. I enjoy it. So I'm sitting here driving while I'm commentating today, just leaving the gym. But let's get to it. I wanted to talk about the Tyrone Woodley, Jake Paul. I don't know what we call this. Is it a fight or I don't know. It's 8 rounds of entertainment, I guess. That's what we'll call it. But I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this. Is it good for boxing or not? In my opinion, I really don't feel it's good for boxing. I think it's good for I don't know, entertainment. That's all I can call it. It's really just entertainment. But I know boxing and football and basketball, they're all entertainment venues, competitive entertainment. But I don't know if it should be kind of looked at the same. For one, well, Tyrone Woodley is more of he's an MMA guy that's retired, that's looking for, I guess, another venue for getting paid. And, you know, I guess everybody thinks they can box at some point. At least you can let your hands go. I guess you're a boxer. Tyrone Woodley is more of a wrestler. He's an athlete, former combat sports champion in MMA. So I guess he has a legitimate reason to try to come into the boxing world. But he's really not a boxer, as you can kind of tell in his performance with Jake Paul in the first fight. But I guess he has a legit argument that, you know, he wants to transition into something else in boxing. Everybody seems to think they can do it. I don't truly believe that. It's levels to everything. But I think Jake Paul, on the other hand, is kind of making a mockery of the sport, so to speak. He's very much an athlete, but more so he's just he's an entertainer, and he's really not. You know, I guess he's a great seller or promoter of his lane, because he's in a lane where he's taking advantage of people who really can't box. And I think he's at a point, I guess, where he has a skill level of boxing, but not really. He's kind of pseudo. I know he's getting trained by professional boxing trainers to fight. He just doesn't have the long pedigree or the upbringing of a boxing professional. I mean, he started boxing at 12 and he's been boxing ever since. He just took on this sport, I guess, and he's just trying to make money doing it. But I can't really take this that serious, and it seems to be that a lot of the networks are taking advantage of it and trying to sell it as something that it's not. I know Showtime is picking up these events that he's putting on, and he's using Showtime as a venue to push his product. And Showtime is known for having legitimate boxing events. So for Showtime to do this kind of throws me a little bit, because they're actually using the same broadcast crew. They're using the same commentary that they would ordinarily use for boxing, and that kind of rubs me wrong. If you're going to have this as an entertainment type deal, you need to have a separate lane for this, and not try to sell it down the same lane as you do traditional boxing. And that's what I have the problem with. You're kind of having to share the lane of people who put in the work, blood, sweat, tears, amateur upbringing, legit boxers. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that box that shouldn't be boxing. You know, it's some professional boxers that are 12 and 40 or 12 and 50. They shouldn't put on boxing gloves. At a point, you're just a stepping stone or a punching bag for people with much more talent than you. Boxing is plagued with people who shouldn't be boxing, and also is plagued with boxers that should not be boxing any longer. So they hang on too long, and then they end up getting brain dead or punch drunk over time because they hung in there too long or took too many beatings. So that's played with that. I get that. But for this to share the same lane, and I'm not saying Showtime should be ashamed of themselves, but Showtime should be ashamed of themselves. To have, like I said, the same commentary, same crew covering an event such as this. I just have that problem. I just don't know if everybody else share that same sentiment. I have an issue with it. I have an issue. Like I said, for purely entertainment purposes, I guess it's entertaining, I guess. But in some regards, you're kind of putting a black eye on the sport when you're carrying it as if it's a legitimate boxing match. It may be a fight, but it's not a boxing match. Now, especially since these guys have one or two boxing matches under their belt. Boxers don't get that same luxury. True boxers, or people that are trying to be legitimate boxers, don't get that same luxury to come out the gate and make millions of dollars just because they don't have that name or have that backing or not a YouTuber or whatever. So I don't know if they should actually, like I said, for entertainment purposes, fine. But again, I think it should be in a separate lane, because I just feel it's kind of illegitimate, and you're not giving the boxers that are trying to make a name for themselves in the sport the same kind of love and coverage. So that's kind of where I am with it. I wonder what your thoughts are. It's truly entertainment. I hope people feel the same way. It's much like WWE, and we need to keep that same energy when we're watching stuff like this. Now, mind you, it's a bit more realistic than WWE, because I think they really are throwing hands. So yeah, but to carry it with the same crew in the same lane, I think that's a big no for me. And maybe because I'm a boxing purist, but that's a big no. I don't see the NFL having celebrity NFL games being played on Sunday at 1 o'clock. I just don't see that. I don't see NBA guys having celebrity NBA games on TNT at 8 o'clock. It would be the same thing, and covered by the same folks. Like, that's kind of discrediting. Or what do they call it? It's cheapening the brand. So, not that boxing has an official brand, but it's cheapening the brand of the sport. That's all I'm suggesting. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and hope you have a great Saturday. Deuces.